for the millions who are diagnosed with a rare disease.
The millions who go years without ever being diagnosed.
The millions who line up for treatments where treatments don't yet exist.
We see you.
We see you.
We see you.
For the families who keep fighting while loved ones get worse.
For the doctors that keep searching for treatments that are out of reach.
For the researchers who discover those life-changing treatments, but need the breakthrough science and capabilities to develop and deliver them to patients. We hear you.
We hear you.
For patient groups advocating and raising funds for new research.
For payers and policymakers seeking new solutions for access.
For healthcare systems striving to transform so breakthroughs are accessible and affordable for patients wherever they are, whoever they may be. We're with you.
We're with you.
At Pfizer Rare Disease, we are pioneering breakthrough science that has a profound impact on the lives of underserved patient populations. For more than 30 years, we have been a trusted partner to the rare disease community, providing critical treatments that have brought hope to patients and their families. Now we're unlocking the power of science to deliver a new generation of breakthrough medicines across multiple modalities, working with our partners to develop new access models, and using our end-to-end capabilities to ensure our breakthroughs reach the patients who need them most.
For the hundreds of millions of underserved patients living with rare disease.
For the doctors, the researchers, and the entire rare disease community that supports them.
We see you.
We see you.
We see you.
We hear you.
We're
with you.
Pfizer Rare Disease. Breakthroughs that change patients' lives.
Hello, everyone. I'm Suneet Varma, Global President of Pfizer Rare Disease. The end of that video really says it all. We see you, we hear you, we are with you. And that is Pfizer's commitment to the rare disease community. We have a 30-year heritage in rare disease, and we aspire to be the world's leading innovator in this space by delivering breakthroughs to the millions of rare disease patients around the world. Patients with rare diseases often face an absence of existing treatment options, which can lead to a real sense of urgency when it comes to creating medical solutions. One example of this that we are working on at Pfizer is Duchenne muscular dystrophy. But there are so many other diseases like this that affect adults, children, and their friends and families. Recently, the COVID-19 pandemic has magnified the challenges these patients face, as many have compromised immune systems, meaning they are at higher risk of contracting the coronavirus or experiencing serious health complications. Therefore, patients may forego doctor's visits, wait to fill their scripts, or generally experience interruptions in their health care. So what can we do to bring more breakthrough medicines to these patients? At Pfizer, we have played a leading role in the industry's response to COVID-19, an experience that can provide many valuable lessons to us all for the future. Above all, we've seen that the COVID-19 pandemic has sparked an unparalleled period of innovation, investment, and partnership across the healthcare landscape. It powerfully demonstrates what we can achieve when we unite the power of science with the power of collaboration. Now that we have witnessed what we can achieve in a time of such crisis, we are confronted with an important question. How can we apply our learnings to accelerate progress in other areas of high unmet need, such as rare disease? Of our numerous learnings from the past year and a half, we have identified 3 areas that may help us develop and deliver more innovative medicines to rare disease patients. First, investing in innovation. Second, sense of urgency and the power of collaboration. And third, addressing health inequities. I'll start with investing in innovation. A key success factor in accelerating the development of our COVID-19 vaccine was our ongoing investment in innovation, from discovery to manufacturing to distribution. In gene therapy, we are taking a similar approach by making big investments to build the end-to-end capabilities that will facilitate the discovery and development of gene therapies and enable high-quality, scalable manufacturing which will allow us to develop these next generation of therapies to patients upon approval. In discovery, Pfizer and BioNTech were working together on mRNA technology to develop a potential flu vaccine well before anyone had heard of COVID-19, which gave us the necessary head start to pivot quickly and develop a COVID-19 vaccine in less than a year. In gene therapy, our investments in discovery have likewise enabled us to build a robust pipeline of highly specialized, potentially one-time treatments that use custom-made recombinant adeno-associated virus vectors to develop gene therapies. Moving to development. During the pandemic, our global scale and resources put us in an unrivaled position to conduct clinical trials around the world and accelerate the development of our COVID-19 vaccine. In rare disease, we are leveraging the same global footprint of development sites and our world-class clinical trial capabilities to develop a deep pipeline of gene therapy programs across multiple disease areas. Finally, when we think about delivery, early investments in scaling up our manufacturing was crucial to the global rollout of our COVID-19 vaccine. Similarly, in gene therapy, we are investing heavily in manufacturing to support rapid drug development and production to make sure that we are ready when the time comes for the timely access for patients. There are several learnings from Pfizer's experience manufacturing and distributing the COVID-19 vaccine that will inform the future distribution of our gene therapy medicines. Let me start with cold chain logistics. Our learnings from gene therapy manufacturing and maintaining the chain of custody of our clinical trial supplies at ultra-low temperatures provided great insights for the development and rollout of our COVID-19 vaccines. And in turn, our recent learnings from real-world COVID-19 examples will now enable us to create a more efficient rollout for our future gene therapies, a very symbiotic process. GPS tracking. We all know this from our daily lives. Similarly, although GPS tracking was first used in the COVID-19, we are now starting to plan for its use in the commercial gene therapy rollout. That early design and planning work accelerated the vaccine distribution and likewise will come back and benefit gene therapies. We are also routinely engaging with regulators to support the healthcare environment for gene therapies and proactively address regulatory challenges. So it all works together. The second key learning from the pandemic that can be applied to rare disease is a sense of urgency and the power of collaboration that comes along with it. The urgency of the pandemic enabled an unprecedented level of collaboration and innovation across the healthcare industry. We saw this play out in multiple ways. First, around regulatory decision-making. In light of the challenges that the pandemic presented, the FDA took a pragmatic approach to regulatory requirements to expedite development without compromising patient safety or quality. This engagement ranged from quick reviews of protocols and filing applications to rapid and virtual scientific input. In rare disease, different designations like Fast Track, Breakthrough, RMAT have helped to advance clinical programs more quickly through the regulatory process, but more can still be done. And the response to COVID-19 has shown us that, in fact, more can be done to speed development. The timelines being achieved for COVID-19 treatments should be retained for potentially life-threatening rare diseases where the clock is ticking, such as Duchenne muscular dystrophy. The spirit of collaboration is especially critical when you are pioneering breakthrough science. In these instances, it is vital to work across the healthcare ecosystem with partners, academic research institutions, regulators, and even patient groups. With the COVID-19 vaccine, there is a constant drumbeat of collaboration and advisory committee meetings open to the public to ensure that regulatory policies can keep up with scientific innovation. It's no different in gene therapy. And a great example of this are the cross-industry advisory committee meetings that the FDA held earlier this month, focused on cell and gene therapy and the safety and toxicity of viral vectors. The sense of urgency around the pandemic also drove innovation in the way we conduct clinical trials, including multiple phases of clinical development happening in parallel. Throughout this journey, public-private sector collaboration was critical as we worked closely with regulators and health officials to adapt our processes to the realities of the pandemic. For example, regulatory inspections of manufacturing sites and sponsors were conducted using secure video and data, where we shared technology that allowed inspectors to interview personnel, review standard operating procedures or SOPs, and validate source documents and data while assuring compliance with privacy laws. This was all previously done only on-site and only in person. So many of these practices, these virtual practices, should be maintained in the future as they save valuable time and resources for all. Like COVID-19, gene therapy will require many groups to come together to solve big healthcare system challenges to ensure equitable access and affordability. There are some specific examples from COVID-19 worthy of further discussion that could expedite access to rare disease treatments too, such as early dialogue with regulators and rolling analysis of data, including all-important real-world data. At Pfizer, we are leading collaborative efforts to advance solutions around access and affordability in gene therapy to help ensure healthcare systems around the world are prepared for these transformative treatments. For example, we are working with think tanks like MIT NewDigs to develop and test new payment models that spread the cost of these therapies over longer periods of time. We also partner with the Alliance for Regenerative Medicine, or ARM, around access and regulatory challenges for orphan drugs. In fact, I recently spoke to Janet Lambert, the CEO of ARM, at the World Orphan Drug Congress about how we can ensure, by working together, the healthcare system is ready to realize the full potential of orphan drugs, including gene therapies. The final learning from the pandemic that I want to touch on is addressing health inequities to ensure access for our most vulnerable patients. The pandemic crystallized the fact that there are enormous disparities among patient populations, economic and otherwise, which is why so much work is being done to assure that all people have access to COVID-19 vaccines. In rare disease, we face this obstacle on an ongoing basis. Many of the diseases we treat involve small populations who have no treatment options at all, and these patients are in all parts of the world. For this reason, significant efforts are taking place to lay the groundwork for these transformational treatments, including gene therapy, which may only be administered once in a patient's lifetime. As we look to the future of rare disease, our industry's extraordinary mobilization to address the global COVID-19 pandemic has set a new gold standard. We believe this unprecedented collaboration was triggered by a clear and united sense of urgency, and that same spirit should also be put into action for the development of rare disease medicines, including gene therapies. Because for so many people living with a rare disease, there really are no other treatment options, and they often don't have any time to lose. So let's step up for them and do our part to accelerate the scientific progress that could transform their lives. Thank you.